y'all, this is probably gonna be a long night. I got Goldie in the shop over here, and I'm gonna be looking at the oil leaks tonight. I plan to just pull the trans right out, take a look at what I got. I got a new rear main seal here. If I see leakage from around the upper oil pan area, then I'm gonna be dropping the cradle to get the upper oil pan resealed. But my goal tonight is to get all of the leaks taken care of so I don't have to keep worrying about leaking oil onto the track. All right, so I think I got down to the point of the leak, and I think I just made a foolish mistake is what I'm figuring. I got Brandon up here with me too, and we were kind of looking at this together, and the rear main seal looks awesome. The rear part of the upper oil pan looks pretty good. But I didn't have any RTV on the crankshaft, the flywheel to crankshaft bolts. I didn't seal those. And I'm sitting here looking at it with the bolts removed, and you can see that the bolt holes go right into the crankcase. So without putting sealant on those bolts, oil can leak past the bolts. And that's kind of what I think is going on. I have another rear main seal for this, but I don't think I'm gonna put it on because it's a cheap aftermarket one and this is a genuine Toyota one. And I just don't think the seal's at fault. These bolts are all like, you can tell they're all wet up under the heads and there's no sealant on them. And obviously everything up in the bell housing was wet, but I mean, there's a lot of oil in every single bolt up under the head. So I think I'm gonna do is just seal those bolts up and reinstall them back into the car and see if that fixes it. It only took me about 30 minutes to get the trans out, so it's not that big of a deal. Another thing I noticed is my flywheel bolts were pressing up against my torque converter cover. So obviously they had some clearance issues there. So I'm gonna grind them down so they're not doing that anymore, because if those bolts kept the torque converter from shifting out of the transmission enough, then I could have just wiped out my pump. Like I could have been causing pump damage from that not having sufficient clearance. You want your torque converter to move out like 1/8 of an inch or so out of the transmission body, and those bolts may have inhibited it from doing that and destroyed the pump. It's certainly possible. So fingers crossed I didn't tear up the pump. I really don't think I want to drop the pan or anything like that. The trans is working really good. If we find out the pump's wiped out later, then we'll know why. But I'm gonna go ahead and fix that by grinding those bolts down so we don't have any more pressure on the pump, or we'll make sure we have sufficient clearance everywhere. All right, y'all, so I need to do some testing on the dump valve and make sure it's working properly. I confirmed I have power to the dump solenoid, so I need to actually do a pressure test. So I'm going to hook up a gauge in line to the dump valve so I can see what the pressure does whenever the dump valve is activated. So for just a quick overview, if you don't already know, the purpose of the dump valve is to intentionally starve the torque converter of fluid pressure. And what that does is it causes it to cavitate. Once there is air in the converter, it allows the engine to spin much faster without having the full weight of the transmission bearing down on it. Essentially, it basically gives you a little more engine RPM. The idea is you launch and then the dump valve closes and everything, it refills the converter pretty quickly because there's a lot of flow going on, and then everything goes back to normal. Anyway, I'm gonna run a quick pressure test with the help of my boy, and we're gonna see if this thing is working like it should. If we don't see the pressure dump off, then we must have a dump valve solenoid problem, which would be outstanding, because then all I gotta do is buy a new solenoid and we put it in the car and we got our dump valve back. But if we do see that drop in pressure on the converter charge circuit, then we know that the dump valve is not gonna do what we need it to, and we have to come up with another plan to get this thing out of the hole. All right, so on the gauge, we're seeing about 100 PSI just sitting at idle with the car in park. So we're gonna let it warm up a little bit, and then we'll get a pressure reading on the brake, and then the dump valve should open up as soon as the throttle goes over 90%, and then we should see that pressure drop substantially. All right, so that's park. There we go. All right, now that's drive. I'm gonna hit, when I hit the brake, the pressure drops a lot. See that? It comes up, that's a little throttle. All right, did you see how low it went? Yeah. See how whenever I gave it a bunch of throttle, the needle dropped down? All right, that means our dump valve is working really good. So when I put it in gear, you see the pressure drop down, and then I hit the brake, and it drops down to like nothing for a second. But then I start giving it revs, it goes up, higher, 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 higher. All right, well that means our dump valve is working like it should. kind of bad news. So this is kind of a bummer. So we saw fluid pressure drop all the way down to like 10 PSI when I was on the brake. That means the dump valve is doing just what it should. I don't think there's going to be any benefit really to going to lower pressure than that. So unfortunately, adding a second solenoid or adding a higher flowing solenoid is not really going to help us here. I'm kind of starting to speculate that the reason it all felt so loose when I tested it that first night that I set this up was just because there was air in the system. I think there was probably air in the system that had to get flushed out, and that's probably why it stalled so much higher. Okay, y'all, so tonight is all about getting this car to leave the starting line properly. We know now that the dump valve is not providing us the assistance that we need. I learned a little bit more about dump valve operation and the way that I have it set up. There's a couple different ways that people achieve a cavitation of the torque converter. Mine is the most crude, the most simple. So the circuit that supplies volume to the torque converter also supplies volume to some, it is also used for lubrication of some components. So after doing a little bit of research and talking to some guys in the DIY Turbo 400 group, it has been brought to my attention that doing anything more to try to get that pressure to drop further than it is ill-advised. We're going to start starving critical components of lubrication. I don't want to risk hurting the transmission here. So we're putting nitrous in the car, baby. I already got the nitrous kit here, and I'm already got it mostly installed. So I already got the tank installed in the car, mounted up, and y'all are gonna like this. I'm so happy about this. So I still gotta kind of clean this up. And I also had to kind of get back in my harness to run a wire from the Mega Squirt to my relay control, and then from the relay control to one of these kill switches, and then from the relay control also across the dash through my harness, all the way up and through. And you can see my nitrous line. It's kind of laid here still. I still got to sort it out. But check out how clean I was able to do this. So look at the solenoid. Look how clean that is. Having it all just come through the fender. I was able to run it through the fender and into the car. So no freaking line hanging across, no freaking wires coming up around here. I thought I was gonna have to route it up from this harness, but then I was like, man, I got this little sweet little tunnel and these little covers right here. Like, that's so smart looking. But I got the solenoid mounted and wired up, and it works. I was able to command it on with the Mega Squirt. The only thing I need to do is install the nozzle into my charge pipe. I think I'm going to put it like down low, back on the other side of this charge pipe. So this line will just kind of run like that and up in here, and it'll be just kind of, subtle and sleek. So I'm pretty happy with how that is all going. I'm gonna have to call it a night for tonight because it's already getting late. But tomorrow I'll get that done, and then I just need to sort out my catch can situation. I'm gonna do basically another simple fix. So I'm gonna continue to use this guy right here. It's a little undersized, but that's okay for now. I just need to add another bung on it for a second AN so I can run a second line off of that valve cover. On Ursula, I only ran my crankcase vent out of one of those, and I ended up pushing out a cam seal, although my catch can was also completely clogged on that car. So there was a little more going on than that, but I just want to make sure I have plenty of ventilation in the crankcase. I don't want to push a cam seal out and have any drama at the track. So that is the plan with that for now. And there's one more little surprise that is going to be kind of underwhelming, but I'm pretty excited about it, and we'll be going more into that maybe tomorrow. Yo, I got some new wheels on old Goldie. They're nothing fancy, just some cheapo steel rims. Kind of the same style that's on the back. Similar, but so much better. I like that so much better than the old swastika wheels. I hate those. Those are for sale if anyone wants them. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. It's a little bit less back spacing, so it's just sits a lot more flush with the bodywork, which I really enjoy. Now, they came with this awful yellow line around the outer perimeter. I mean, I didn't even want to show you guys when it had the yellow line. But I got one of my workers right now taking care of it on this wheel. Here's the line. This bright yellow line went all the way around the outside. So my honey's coloring it in with a permanent marker. So what I've been working on tonight is getting the nitrous system totally plumbed up. I got my solenoid here, as y'all showed y'all the other day. It kind of comes through the bodywork so you don't see the hose running through the engine bay. And then kind of not so discreetly just shoots around and goes into the pipe here. I got this, this is like a bulkhead type fitting that you're supposed to like bolt to something flat, but my pipe's not flat. So that wasn't going to work. And you have to have it as close to the throttle body as possible because my intake air temp sensor right here would be seriously affected by this flow of nitrous. And I didn't really want it to be before the blow off valve either. So I had it right here up against the thing. I was able to just weld on that little bulkhead fitting rather than use it in the way that it's intended. And I like that much better. So that's installed. I got the line coming through the car, kind of discreetly using these sweet little zip tie retainers that just pop into a hole. It's got like a little Christmas tree pin and it holds it still and the little zip tie goes around it. I just run around the car with a handful of those things and a drill bit, drilling holes and sticking them wherever I want stuff to stay. Put another one right here. And then it just kind of continues on back here, going under the framework where it can, and ultimately ending at the nitrous bottle that me and my boy Dub mounted back here the other day. So that is all hooked up. I ran all the wiring and stuff for the Megasquirt to control it. So now we're gonna run a quick test. I just opened up the bottle to put a little bit of pressure in the lines, and we're gonna give this a command on and see if we hear the nitrous go. Yep, that worked just fine. But it's the middle of the night, so I can't really test out the brake. I don't want to upset anybody. So tomorrow morning, I'm planning to throw the car on the trailer and head to Texas Motorplex. They're having a streetcar showdown. I'm not sure if I'm going to be competitive in any of those classes or even applicable, being that I'm all gutted and on a bias ply. But there's a lot of different classes, and they're going to have some test and tune too. So I'm hoping to just get the launch stuff all set up in the parking lot and hopefully just sign up for a class just to get some qualifying passes and be able to send the car down the track. We're in December now, so chances to go down the quarter-mile track are becoming very scarce. So I'm just taking this opportunity to make a few passes. If I could get 2 or 3, I think it'd be worth the trip. So that is the plan. We got nitrous. Oh, also added a second PTFE AN line for my crankcase breather. Opened up the vent inside here just for a little more flow, and then added a bung up top. This is an awful little catch can. I'm not very proud of it, but it's here, and that's better than nothing. So I'll improve that at some point later on down the line. So yeah, nitrous, crankcase breather, wheels, and we're all set to go. Greetings, folks. I'm out here at the Streetcar Showdown hosted at Texas Motorplex. There is some real cool stuff out here. This is going to be an awesome day. I'm just here for test and tune. I thought about entering a class, but it's like at least an extra 40 bucks or more depending on the class I join. Most of these cars are doing the street car class, meaning they're going to go on a 30-mile drive and they're full interior and all that, so I can't compete in that class. And then the rest of them are like some gangster-ass small tire cars. Really, I'm real out of place here, but I am going to get to go down the track. I'm gonna go ahead and hop up in line. I'm already checked in, and we're gonna see what the car does with the nitrous. All right, y'all, I got the nitrous bottle warmed up. A little too much, honestly. I overshot it again. I just used the heater in the truck to blow warm air on it, and I just can't believe how good that works. But I'm gonna go ahead and, I got everything set up in the Megasquirt. Everything's set up on the wiring. I checked the output before I came, but this is gonna be my first time actually getting on the brake with it to see how it acts. I think I got the 2-step set to like 4,000 RPMs. And I don't know what it's gonna do. All right, let's just see how it goes. All right, so we gotta watch our wideband and see what it does when it's up on the brake. Whoa, way fast. All right, coolant temp 185 degrees. Should be good. So give her a run. Just working on getting Goldie dialed up for the launch. Just got the nitrous set up last night. Didn't get to test it at all. Came out here and started fooling with it. I'm really starting to get it dialed in. I think it's getting pretty close, but I don't want to sit here and cook on the transmission any longer. So I think I got it close enough now. Looking at the data logs, nitrous comes on. We reach our target boost pretty quickly, and then the nitrous shuts off. Got the fueling pretty close. It's a little on the rich side. And yeah, I think the car is gonna leave really good. I hope I don't overdo this and blow the tires off on the starting line. Y'all, I'm really nervous. I don't know why. I'm not gonna have anyone to film me at the starting line either, so if everything works, this car is gonna go faster than it's ever gone by a fair sum. I'm only targeting about 18 PSI. So it's not like we're gonna be really just blowing it out the back, but honestly, I had a rev limiter really low last time, so even on like a real similar back half tune, I expect the car to go a fair amount faster. Uh-oh. What does that mean? Yo, that was insane! I don't know what that was. I can tell you that car I just raced is a deep 8-second car. Like an 8.3 car, I'm pretty sure. We do his, so that's Dan Butler. At BSB we do his suspension setups. He's one of the ARS boys. And we do pretty much all the suspension setup for the ARS guys. I don't know why the car shut off. I don't know, maybe it was just pissed off. But everything looks fine. All our temperatures are fine. All our fluids are staying where they belong. I'll have to look at the logs, see if anything crazy happened, but I'm not really worried about it. When I was cranking the engine back up, it was, well, see, it just died again. Now we're stalling. Thank you, sir. No way! No way, dude! No! Yo! That was a 9.7, dude! We just ran a 9.7 quarter mile! No way, bro! No way, dude! Oh my god, y'all! Yes! No, 138 miles an hour, 9.7. That was a 1.3960 foot. Yeah, this is what I built this car to do, dude. Yes! Yes! Unreal, dude. Unreal. We just ran a... I can't believe that shit. I can't believe that shit. I don't believe it, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, so Dan ran 8.9. The car's acting kind of crazy. I'll have to take a look at the log and see why it's hating life right now in idle. It's just going lean for unknown reasons, but Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Is this right, dude? 394. Yo, he just ran a 9.7 at 138, dude. That was a 6.1/8 mile at 111 miles. This can't be right, bro. This ain't right. Oh man, y'all, I am soaring, flying high right now. I do have some bad news. I did not get a log of my 9.7 second pass, and I have not been able to find anyone who took video of it. So, besides GoPro footage, there's very little proof that it ever happened. I wish I had the log so I could refer back to it, see what kind of boost we ran, see if there's any kind of changes we need to make, but we're not gonna have that. That's not gonna happen. So, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to run it back, same tune, same everything, and get a log this time, hopefully. I'm not gonna change anything. I was pretty white-knuckled during the pass. I can't say I looked down at the wideband very much, but I did look at it for sure towards the end of the pass, and it was sitting around 11.7 on air-fuel ratio, so I think we're good there. I got my my dash is set up to flash red if anything is out of sorts, if we have like really lean mixture or a drop in fuel pressure or anything like that. So I don't think anything like that happened, but we're just gonna try to run it back, follow it up with another 9 if the opportunity arises. But I honestly don't even care what happens the rest of the day. I'm just having the best time. There's some really fast cars out here, real competitive classes. They got the small tire guys going right now, and this is gonna be good stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of hang out and watch and just enjoy myself and bask in my victory, my personal victory.